Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Marco? Polo. Marco Pierre White, recipe for steak and ale pie. Steak and kidney pie. Steak and ale pie. Preemptive like, sure, let's go. My name's Connor. I like learning about things, hanging out. Yeah. Hit all the things, hit all the buttons. I love learning about food and stuff too. Look, okay, just hit all the buttons. Original link to the video, top of the description, right below that. Link to the Discord. Click on it, send you right over there. Love to have you. Let's go. Just please, if you do go in the Discord, hopefully you do, and you want to put videos in the recommended, please try to use videos. I'm really surprised this one from Marco Recipes doesn't get copyrighted because the last one didn't. But try not to pick videos from like BBC or... It's because they're going to get copyrighted and I won't be able to put them up. And so I just won't end up reacting to them. Just try and pick videos from not so established like news type channels. You know what I mean? Okay.
Steak and ale pie. Very easy, very simple. Roughly chopped onions, fried golden brown. Nice chunks of beef, caramelized golden brown. Put the two together. In the pot, add your beer, half a litre of Knorr rich beef stock pot, and thicken with a little corn flour. Chop our onions. They're still quite coarse, but that's fine because over the cooking they'll just break down. It's nice to see them anyway at the end. You know, it's nice to have a bit of texture. A little oil or dripping, whatever you wish to use. You may think, wow, a lot of onions, but if we're honest, not really. We've got some big chunks of meat here.
Who doesn't love
little
onions?
Squares. A big chunk of meat so I can get that real texture. And also I get great caramelization by cooking at a large piece. If you want to use big chunks of meat like myself, then don't go to the supermarket, go to see your butcher and ask for the cut, which is the top end of the rib, which is running into the neck. And it's really good for braising. Remember, the pan should be hotter than you want it. So don't be scared to get it really hot. Because once I put 4 or 5 pieces of meat into that pan, there's a tremendous loss of heat. So have the confidence to make your pan really hot. When I think of a steak pie, I think of a steak which has been braised, topped with pastry. I don't think of little cubes, even though that's what people tend to do. For me, I sit down, I get my steak pie, I lift my pastry, and there's my steak. A nice braised steak, which has been caramelized beautifully. In goes our beef. Add some of the beer to dissolve the sediment, reduce the beer down, which intensifies the flavour of the beer, removes the alcohol. So as you can see, steaks, caramelised, onions caramelised, beer reduced, all cooking together. We'll just reduce that down a little bit more. When it's reduced by about half, then I'll add the rich beef stock pot.
So he said to get rid of the sediment, so all the nice beer got up the nice little giblets and cookings from the steaks, and now it's all in a nice sauce.
Reduce that down a little bit more. When it's reduced by about half, then I'll add the rich beef stock pot. Approx half a litre. And the beauty of rich beef stock pot is that it really brings it all together. Because when you think something like steak needs a big flavour, onions, beer, they're all big flavours. And what the rich beef stock pot does is bring them all together. It gives it that great texture, that richness at the end, which you're searching for. And if you don't put the right ingredients in at the beginning, you're not going to get the desired effect at the end. So there's just one little job to do before we pop it in the oven. And that is just add a little bit of corn flour, not too much. On with the lid, into the oven.
What did he add? I had to check the volume. What did he add?
Do before we pop it in the oven. Desired effect at the end. So there's just one little job to do before we pop it in the oven. And that is just add a little bit of corn flour, not too much.
Of corn what?
Put it in the oven. And that is just add a little bit of corn flour, not too much. On with the lid.
What did he say?
Into the oven. And again, time is just a guide. 145, 2 hours. So the steak and ale pie mix.
145? What?
It's now in the pie dish, it's cooled. In
Celsius, it must be Celsius.
So the steak and ale pie mix, it's now in the pie dish, it's cooled. In a perfect world, we would cook the pie mix the day before. In the pie dish, allow it to cool, allow it to mature. and then cover with the pastry. If we didn't allow it to cool, what would happen is the pastry would melt. So just short crust pastry, just very lightly flour. Most people today, they buy their pastry. There's nothing wrong with it because there's very good pastries out there, but if you want to make your own, that's fantastic. I'm allowing the pin to do the work and keep on turning it and working it until you know it'll cover your pie. Egg wash the side of the pie dish, which will help create the seal. I allow it generously to drop over the edge of the pie dish. What I don't want to do is start to work the pastry, to overwork it, to make it too thin. Just trim with a knife and then just egg wash. And there's our pie in the oven, approx 30 minutes. So there we have it, steak and ale pie, a great British classic. Delicious.
Can you cut it open? No, I wish you would cut it open. I'm really curious to see what it's like in the inside. I feel like it would be very fluidy, like liquidy, you know, and like I'd imagine if you cut a piece out of this, you would cut out the pastry and it would just be like a soup under. Can't be. One thing I love and I appreciate about all the little tricks like about really good cooks or really good chefs is how like whenever I try to cook something that has more than like one element to it, I always get to the point where like I finish one thing and then I'm like, oh god, this still has like 10 minutes to be done and this is gonna be cold. And I think it's really cool to watch good cooks just know what to cook first and without thinking and so that like everything is hot and done at the same time when you put it all together, you know? Really cool. I really wish I could see the inside of that. Awesome. Ooh, yeah, shepherd's pie as well. I'll do this after. All right, love you guys. All right, hope you're doing well. Chin up. Everything will be all right. See you soon.